What was the designer of this ship thinking? These are some of the most ambitious boats ever conceived. Here are the top 15 most strange and amazing boats. Number 15. The WAM-V USV Platform. The WAM-V USV platform was designed and developed by researchers from Marine Advanced Research Incorporated from Richmond, California, and represents the next step in autonomous watercraft. They're designed to be modular, which allows them to be easily customized for whatever purpose they're needed for, with current uses included for offshore gas and oil surveys, patrolling harbors, the deployment and retrieval of oceanic sensors, and for the creation of temporary communication grids. In fact, they're so adaptable that the basic rigs are given to teams of the Maritime Robot X Challenge to help encourage the design of new uses for the craft. And it's quite possible that you'll see these being used in rivers and oceans quite soon for menial jobs that would previously have to be performed by a manned crew. Number 14. Zipper Boat. Boat designers often look at real-world objects to help create the overall look and feel of a vessel. But the zipper boat takes this notion to a whole new level. Created by renowned Japanese artist Yasuhiro Suzuki, the boat itself is meant to look just like a zipper tab, while the wake it leaves behind in the water represents the opening up of the teeth. There were inherent problems, however, and despite it being more than 6 years in the making, the zipper boat was never able to prove its seaworthiness, so passengers were never allowed on board. It also failed to build up sufficient momentum to generate the effect of it unfastening the sea, and simply just floated in the water, with spectators left waiting for something interesting to happen. Number 13. Tropical Island Yacht. We've all dreamt of having our own tropical island and our own yacht. But what if you could combine the two? That's what this yacht from a company called Yacht Island Design is intended to do. And while it only currently exists as a concept design, we could well see one being built for real in the next few years. Known as the Tropical Island Paradise, these cabins below deck are what you'd expect from a typical yacht, but it's above deck that things are very different. The 295-foot boat has its own volcano that surrounds the bridge, and from where a cascading waterfall feeds into the swimming pool. There are cabanas around the beach cove for relaxing in the heat of the sun, a huge bar, and there's even a space for a helipad for ease of access. Also included is a theater, library, games room, a spa, VIP suites, and an owner's suite across 2 levels, which the designers say is enough to accommodate 10 guests in ultimate luxury. Number 12. Palmer Johnson 48 Supersport. The unusual-looking Palmer Johnson 48 Supersport is one of the most fuel-efficient boat designs ever conceived, but it retains the style and luxury you'd expect from a multi-million-dollar private yacht. The 160-foot ship has a lightweight aluminum hull and can reach speeds of up to 21 knots. The designers pride themselves on the fact that there are no flat surfaces and that it has what they call a sculpted waistline and aggressively predatory stance, which ensures that no matter where it's docked, it'll turn heads. It has a stunning sky lounge and sun deck, and all the interior rooms have floor-to-ceiling windows to allow as much sunlight in as possible. And there's a jacuzzi, 2 boat garages for a tender, and jet skis, and a beach club at the rear. Number 11. Johann's Ark. In 2012, Dutch builder Johan Huybers unveiled his latest project, a recreation of the most famous boat in the world, Noah's Ark. It took him 4 years to complete using details and measurements taken from the Bible, and the finished vessel was nothing short of incredible. With a total area of 215,000 square feet, there's an onboard restaurant, educational center, and hundreds of animal models just to show how confined in existence the original would have been when it set sail 4,000 years ago. At 390 feet long, 98 feet wide, and 75 feet tall, it splits across 7 different levels and uses the equivalent of 12,000 trees worth of wood. It cost an estimated €4 million to complete, which is around $4.5 million, and it now sails from port to port where it opens up to 3,000 visitors per day. Number 10. Touristic Planet Solar. Modern vehicle designs have to take into account how much fuel their engines need to run, but if Touristic Planet Solar is anything to go by, the yachts of the future could be entirely solar-powered. It was the first vessel to make a circumnavigation of the world with only the use of electricity generated from the sun's rays. But this was no easy feat. The almost 100-ton boat had just under 5,500 square feet of photovoltaic cells to charge the 8.5-ton lithium-ion batteries that are in the hulls. But it proved to be a complete success. There were, however, several design compromises to make this work. It was developed to give the maximum surface area for the solar panels, which left very little space for living quarters, and there aren't even many windows. It also travels relatively slow and has to avoid passing underneath cloud cover for extended periods of time. But with improved battery technology and more efficient solar arrays, this could be a sign of what will become increasingly common in years to come. Number 9. The Exhibitionist. There's no doubt that one of the important considerations when designing a yacht is to take into account how it'll look to the outside world, and there's perhaps none as extravagant and memorable than the Exhibitionist. It was the brainchild of a yacht and high-performance car designer who wanted to combine his skills from each discipline to create something truly unique. The result was a vessel with a fold-out helipad with room for 3 choppers that could even double up as a bandstand for evening parties. Aerial shots show the inspiration it has taken from cars, with smooth flowing lines, a windshield-style hood, and a bow that would look at home on a Ferrari. And the interior is just as impressive. On one side is a showroom for the owner to display their collection of vehicles, while the rest is separated by glass panels that can become opaque at the push of a button for privacy. Never has the name been so apt for a yacht, and even though it hasn't been built in real life, the company claims they have several interested parties, and it could become a reality within a matter of years. Before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on. Number 8. Himiko Water Bus. Tokyo is synonymous with futurism, and no matter where you are, you won't be far from an example of how technology has blended into day-to-day activities. But one of the most impressive of all is the Himiko Water Bus, which carries passengers from the Azumabashi Bridge to the Odaiba Seaside Park. There are 11 ships that serve the route, but the design of 2 of them was created by the legendary anime creative genius Leiji Matsumoto. Known as the Himiko and the Hotaluna, both feature curved panoramic windows, shiny metallic surfaces, and almost look like they were meant to be submarines. He took inspiration from what he imagined spaceships of the future would look like, and incorporated fully transparent glass ceilings, figures from his most popular movies and shows, and even a tour commentary that was recorded by the voice actors of his most famous characters. Travel on these 2 boats costs more than the others that serve the route, but if you want to get into the mindset of such an amazing city while traveling along the river, it's a cost that's well worth it. Number 7. Jet Capsule. Personal water transport vessels used to be sailboats, canoes, or rowing boats, and even if somebody was lucky enough to have a modestly sized powerboat for getting around, they still aren't as cutting edge as the type of vehicle that's made by Jet Capsule. These 24-foot-long yachts are made from carbon fiber and have windows that change transparency depending on how bright the sunlight is, and have interiors that can be fully customized. You can even have a small kitchen, a bathroom, bedroom, or a sun deck installed. And with an up to 740 horsepower engine, you can reach speeds of up to 35 knots. The Jet Capsule design hits the sweet spot for size, as it's not too big that you need to have a permanent mooring in a harbor, but it still has plenty of room for virtually any purpose. In a transport configuration, it can comfortably seat 12 passengers, and with a base cost of around $150,000, it's far more accessible than larger designs. Number 6. Looker 350. The desire to attract tourists to the beautiful oceans around destination ports has resulted in some rather peculiar boat designs, but there's none as strange as the Looker 350, which features a huge underwater viewing bubble that allows everyone on board to get a stunning view of what's beneath the water's surface. There's no doubt that these have been a game changer for operators wanting to take successive groups of tourists to a reef and back again. But the design of these boats above the surface definitely isn't the most beautiful you'll ever see. For some reason, they've also decided to put a bubble window at the bow of the boat, which lifts up and blocks the view of the driver when it reaches its cruising speed. There are plenty of people who think the Looker 350 truly is a looker and evokes futuristic ideals. However, there is something about its curved lines that make it seem as if it's a part of the local wildlife. They've certainly made a lot of money from tour operators since they were launched 15 years ago, because of the unique views they offer, so proves that looks aren't everything anyway. Number 5. The Ghost. In 2002, the U.S. Navy conducted an exercise to test their capabilities with ever-changing tactics, and by the end of it, they discovered there was a gaping hole in their defenses. The flotilla of an aircraft carrier flanked by amphibious ships and cruisers was completely destroyed by a fleet of small, fast-moving ships with explosives, ground-based missile launchers, and low-flying aircraft. The problem with the idea of swarm attackers is that they present multiple fast-moving targets that traditional weaponry can't cope with. So this test inspired Juliet Marine Systems to design a countermeasure, a boat they called the Ghost. It's a small stealth ship that has a barely detectable radar signature and has an incredibly smooth ride thanks to the way it lifts up onto the water's surface on its two hulls. The cabin is designed to be modular so different weapon systems can be installed based on mission requirements. Realizing they've had a highly effective, nimble ship, the company went to the Navy to pitch it to them. Instead, it was seen to be so effective that the military couldn't risk the design being sold elsewhere too, so immediately took control of the intellectual property rights and began to build the vessels themselves. Under the cloak of secrecy, no one now publicly knows what the capabilities of the Ghosts in service actually are, but it's more than likely that they have completely changed the face of naval defense in a way that's fit for the 21st century. Number 4. The Mayflower Autonomous Ship. The Mayflower was the first ship that traveled from Plymouth in England to the New World in 1620 and transported the first 102 pilgrims to their new lives. It went down in history as being one of the initial building blocks of the America that we know today, and it's fitting that the anniversary is celebrated every year. 2020 represents the 400th anniversary of the voyage, however, so a unique way of commemorating it was proposed. Known as the Mayflower Autonomous Ship, the $1.5 million vessel will recreate the journey of the original Mayflower, but this time there won't be a single person on board. Instead, it'll be navigated from a control center in Plymouth, where operators will also be able to oversee the various experiments that will also be installed on the ship. Far from being a nostalgic adventure, the project aims to show the capabilities of autonomous ships and how they could represent the future of oceanic research. It's entirely powered by renewable energy, and without a human crew, ships like this could theoretically remain sailing forever, only needing to return to port for repairs. This would be ideal to monitor pollution levels, marine ecosystems, and plenty more. The plan is for the 50-foot boat to arrive in Plymouth during the summer of 2020, before beginning the transatlantic voyage in September. And once it completes that leg of its journey, the developers hope to be able to send it on a full global circumnavigation to prove the technology works. Number 3. Orsos Island. If you can't afford your own private island or think you might become bored with the view after a while, then an Australian company has come up with the ideal solution. For just $6.5 million, they're selling artificial islands that can be set in position anywhere in the world that you want. Each island is 66 feet wide and 121 feet long, and contains 6 double rooms to support 12 people on board at any one time, along with 4 members of staff. They are self-sufficient when it comes to power, and are covered in solar panels, while the upper decks also contain lots of greenery and a luxuriously large jacuzzi. There are further decks below with a kitchen, lounge area, and entertainment lounge, and a laundry room. But there's one noticeable limitation to these Orsos Islands. Despite looking similar to and feeling like a yacht, there actually aren't any engines on board. To move it requires a tugboat, but once you've found the ideal location, why would you want to move anyway? Number 2. The Carapace. Luxury yacht designers are constantly looking to develop the next trend, whether that be the power source, the speed, or the amenities that are available on board. As technology improves, they're able to attempt things that were impossible just a few years ago. And one of the directions the mega yachts of the future seem to be going is a hybrid between a surface sailing ship and a submarine. The Carapace is possibly the most elegant and amazing concept ship design ever created, and was imagined by Elena Nappi, a naval architect from Italy. Taking clear cues from the smooth shapes of car design, the idea is that it can be a place of peace and privacy during private charters and business trips. Made from a 256-foot-long aluminum superstructure, this would be impressive enough if it was just a yacht, but at the flick of a switch, the Carapace can submerge to a depth of up to 985 feet, where it could remain for more than a week. Not only would this give the stunning view of the marine ecosystem, but it would also ensure that no prying eyes were able to spy on confidential meetings, and that everything happens on the boat stays on the boat. Powered by a dual diesel motor and electric system, the 3 passenger decks contain a series of VIP cabins, a lounge, a spa, a bar, a health club, and a jacuzzi room surrounded by floor-to-ceiling windows. But it could be quite a while until one of these actually is available to charter. With a price of many hundreds of millions and potentially billions of dollars, there are only a few people in the world who could own one. And the designer herself admits that technology isn't quite at a stage where it could be built to the required safety standards. Still, luxury submarines are seen as the next frontier of mega yachts, and it may not be too long until the first prototypes set sail. Number 1. Eclipse Yacht. Roman Abramovich is a Russian billionaire, mainly known around the rest of the world for owning Chelsea Football Club. But in 2010, he commissioned what was, at the time, the largest and most expensive yacht in the world, and it's incredible. Known as the Eclipse, it cost an estimated $1.5 billion to build and has already been retrofitted twice, at a cost of many millions of dollars, to keep up with developing technologies. The 557-foot ship can reach speeds of up to 22 knots and can cater for as many as 36 guests in extreme luxury. On board, there's a cinema, several conference rooms, a salon, 2 swimming pools, a sauna, and a dance floor. The owner's room is armor-plated with bulletproof windows. The ship has lasers to dazzle the lenses of photographers. And it even has a missile defense system. No civilian ship in the world is as secure as the Eclipse, which makes you wonder quite what happens on it that would justify such extreme measures. Subscribe to Top 5s for more and check out some of our other popular videos.